high harmony seekers. Today, we'll continue to talk about navigating emotions and mental well-being together. The final part. As we go on, we'll explore how to celebrate with joy, mourn with depth, and above all, stay true to ourselves through life's ups and downs. In moments like these, when we share stories and reflect, we can discover the deeper dynamics of our relationships. Just like a beautiful river, the waters in that place flow so beautifully, you know. They can rush or meander, but they're always moving forwards. Our relationships are just like this river, you know. They're one of a kind, always changing, and full of unexpected twists and turns. Okay, let's explore together and discover some amazing things that could bring comfort to your hearts and show you the way forwards. Let's talk about how two souls come together like a beautiful dance. But in the middle of all this, how can we make sure we don't lose ourselves? How can we keep our unique qualities while also thriving as a couple? Let me tell you a story of Kylie and Jack. Kylie was amazing at playing the violin, so she would often play her beautiful melodies to the local squares. Meanwhile, Jake, who was a passionate chef, loved to experiment with different flavors at a bistro nearby. They moved in and lived together. As time went on, their different rhythms started to mix together and create a single, repetitive tune. They were so exhausted after work because they mortgage and bills to pay. Their apartment used to be filled with Kylie's beautiful melodies and the delicious smells of Jake's culinary experiments. But lately, it's been feeling strangely monotonous. They kind of put their own interests on hold once they started taking on the roles they thought were expected of them in their relationship. Until one weekend, at the Queen Victoria Market, Kylie happened to come across a street musician playing a familiar tune on his guitar. When she heard the notes, something inside her stirred, and she suddenly realized how much she missed playing her own violin. At that point in time, she was so inspired that she decided to join a local orchestra that afternoon and reignite her passion. That evening, Kylie was so excited and told Jack what she did. When Jake saw how happy Kylie is and how she really wanted Jack to do the same, so he couldn't help but feel drawn back to his love for cooking. He decided to start going to cooking workshops and learn some cool new techniques to use in his dishes. Every day after work, they go to their classes doing what they always loved to do. Every night they would have a late dinner together with Jack delicious dishes. When they embraced their individualities, something amazing happened. Not only did their personal worlds become richer, but their relationship itself transformed in a beautiful way. They don't feel any more exhaustion after work, but really looking forward to something that they love to do. Kylie and Jake had such amazing stories and experiences to talk about every day, to share at dinner, which made their bond even more special and one of a kind. Just imagine a magnificent symphony. Each of these instruments, the violin, the flute, and the cello, has its own unique tune. They're absolutely stunning when they're alone, but when you put them together, they create something truly magical. They don't overshadow, they actually complement each other. In relationships, it's important to have harmony, just like in a symphony. Each person should be like a unique note, adding to the beautiful collective sound. Isn't it easy to lose ourselves in the weeds, especially when it comes to love? There's beauty in the as well. In those moments when our hearts race with personal passions, when we achieve triumphs on our own, and when we find solace in self-reflection. Think back to a time when you felt like your true self. Did you feel that way when you were dancing, singing, or maybe just sitting quietly with a book? Just imagine if that essence of you were to fade away. How would it feel? Kylie's return to her passion didn't make her love for Jack any less. It actually added more layers to it. They started sharing more than just what happened during their day. They began opening up about their personal triumphs and exciting things they had learned. They were celebrating each other. Just imagine how amazing it would feel to see your partner achieve their personal goals and knowing that you're their number one supporter. It's such a wonderful feeling, isn't it? When Kylie plays her violin at the local orchestra, Jack was there, not just as her husband, but as her biggest fan. And guess what? When Jack finished cooking a dish, Kylie was actually the first person to taste it and to give feedback. They came to the realization that love isn't about losing who you are, but rather about embracing and enhancing each other's unique qualities. You know, when it comes to relationships, it's really important to maintain your individuality. It's kind of like how you water the roots of a plant. There's something pretty amazing about plants. Even though we can't see it, there's this secret power hidden beneath the soil that helps them thrive. Get ready to embrace yourself. Take care of your partner, and let's create a beautiful symphony of love and individuality together. Let's talk about a topic that's a part of life that we all experience, but don't often talk about: grief and loss. In today's world, we tend to think that happiness means not feeling any pain. Isn't it true that we really understand the depth of happiness and love through pain? You know, it's really interesting how life can be full of paradoxes. One of the trickiest ones to navigate is when two people are deeply connected through love. There's this story I want to tell you that's pretty relatable in our world. It's got some valuable lessons we can all learn from. It's Jason and Amy. You could really see their love shining through, not just when things were going well, but especially when times get tough. They went through a really tough time recently. They lost their child. It was absolutely heartbreaking. As time went on, the weight of their loss started to feel too much to bear. The days that used to be filled with laughter are now so quiet. They both put on a strong front for each other, but deep down, I was feeling a whirlwind of grief. They finally realized that keeping their pain to themselves wasn't doing any good for either of them. Oh, by the way, they actually came across a support group for parents who had gone through similar losses during that time. Deciding to attend the group was definitely not an easy choice. But as they sat with other parents who were also grieving, sharing their stories, they realized that they weren't the only ones going through this. And you know what? They realized that they could totally go through this journey together. Instead of pushing them apart, their shared pain actually brought them closer together. Grief is a lot like an ocean. Sometimes it's so peaceful and calm that it makes us think back on all the beautiful moments. However, sometimes it can get pretty intense, overwhelming us with all those memories, pain, and thoughts of what could have been. But as you know, it's kind of like how a ship can sail through calm and stormy seas. With the right tools, compass, and some good company, we can also navigate through grief. What was the main challenge that Jason and E had to deal with? It wasn't just the loss, you know. It was the feeling of being so alone in their grief. When two people go through a loss together, they often feel like they have to keep it to themselves in order to protect the other person. It's like they're building walls instead of bridges, which is what we really need. Grief is something that we all experience in our own unique way, but it's also something that we can go through together. It's really important for couples to be able to talk about their pain and support each other through tough times. Mourning together can help strengthen the bond between partners. One way we noticed with Jason and Amy is when they both looked for places where they could heal together. Finding a space where both partners can express, share, and heal, whether it's through a support group, therapy, or spiritual counseling, can be really helpful. Also, you know what? Creating memory rituals can actually be quite healing as well. Perhaps they could try lighting a candle every evening, visiting a special place that holds meaning, or simply sharing stories about their lost loved one. Rituals are really important because they not only pay tribute to the person who has passed away, but they also give us a way to deal with our grief in a more organized way. This helps us keep our everyday life from being completely overwhelmed by sadness. If you're going through a tough time and dealing with grief, you don't have to go through it alone. It's okay to reach out for support and lean on others during this journey. You should try finding places where people come together to mourn. Try incorporating rituals into your routine that not only honor the memory of your loved one, but also assist you in navigating through the grieving process. And, most importantly, make sure to communicate, because your partner is out there sailing in the same stormy ocean. We can find a way to calmer waters together. Jason and Amy kept going to the support group. They not only found solace there, but they also started helping other couples deal with their grief. They decided to plant a tree in memory of their child. It's such a beautiful symbol of life, growth, and continuity, don't you think? They would sit under its shade every year, just remembering and treasuring the brief but special moments they spent with their child. When we're feeling down, love, understanding, and being there for each other can help us get through even the toughest times. Just like the amazing mountain range. Imagine being there at the peak, seeing the sun paint everything in a beautiful golden light. It must have been so breathtaking. But you know, in the valleys, the darkness kind of conceals the beauty that's there. Life is just like this landscape, you know. It's got its ups and downs, like peaks and valleys. Daniel had just come home, feeling so happy and lighthearted. He was practically bouncing with excitement. He got promoted. It's great to see his hard work and dedication paying off. He was so excited and couldn't wait to tell Jessica. He looked at her, hoping she would validate his news. But Jessica, usually the one who's always there for him, seemed a bit distant. It's all because of her startup, the one she had cherished and cared for like a baby, just encountered its first big setback. Daniel was at the peak of his success, just when Jessica was going through a tough time of failure. During dinner, there was a noticeable tension in the air, even though no one was saying anything. Daniel felt like his accomplishment was being overshadowed. And Jessica, she was really struggling with feelings of inadequacy. It was tough for both of them. Jessica had a breakdown one evening and said to Daniel, "I feel like I'm failing." And you know what's even worse? "I'm sorry I couldn't be there to celebrate your success with you." Daniel held her tightly, whispering, "You know, life is always full of ups and downs. But what if we make a promise to always celebrate our successes and be there for each other during tough times?" Sometimes, in the hustle and bustle of our daily lives, we might forget to take a moment and appreciate our partner's accomplishments or offer them comfort when they face setbacks. Think of life as a roller coaster ride with ups and downs. Sometimes we find ourselves standing on top of the world with everything at our feet. Sometimes we end up in those dark, dangerous valleys and have to find our way through. True companionship is all about being there for your partner through the ups and downs. It's about celebrating together when things are going great and offering a comforting hand when they're not. In relationships, it's not always about being in perfect sync all the time. It's more about understanding and respecting where each person is in their own journey. Daniel and Jessica really show us how important it is to acknowledge each other. Have you celebrated your partner's recent achievement? Just something to think about. Have you been there for them when they needed support? Hey, have you heard about celebration nights? How about setting aside one evening every month to celebrate your achievements, whether they're big or small? It could be a fun way to acknowledge and appreciate all the things you've accomplished. Let's raise a toast to your successes. It's time to dance, laugh, and let joy fill the air. It's not only the big wins that matter, but the small victories too. Support circles are a great way to get the help and support you need. They provide a safe and welcoming space for people to come together and share their experiences, challenges. Life is full of ups and downs, and it's important to handle the tough times with grace. Life can be pretty unpredictable, right? But you know what makes it better? Having a partner by your side. They turn every high point into a celebration and every low point into a chance to grow. Hold your partner's hand, celebrate together during the good times, and be their guiding star during the tough times. That's what true companionship is all about. Life is truly beautiful because it's full of surprises. Just embrace it, live it, and cherish it. How about we all take a seat, spend a moment together? Picture in your mind a stunning garden, a place that you have poured your heart and soul into, tending to it with immense care and endless patience. We've been exploring its pathways, enjoying the lovely scent of its blossoms, and getting our hands dirty in its soil for this long. Just picture this: the flowers in full bloom, birds singing harmoniously from the trees, and fruits hanging ripe, reflecting the fruits of our hard work and understanding. Wow, this garden really reflects our relationships, doesn't it? There are some parts that are shaded and some that are sun-kissed, but overall, it's thriving. You know, being a gardener can be quite a delicate task at times. It takes a gentle touch to care for the plants and help them thrive. And let's not forget about the resilience needed to protect them from storms and harsh weather conditions. But above all, what truly makes a difference is the nurturing water of understanding and love. Just like a garden needs regular care, our relationships also need our time and commitment. They really thrive when we acknowledge the emotions that are hiding in the shadows. We open up about our own vulnerabilities and joys. And most importantly, when we give it the nourishment of compassionate listening and heartfelt conversations. A relationship like that doesn't just survive, it really thrives. It adds beautiful colors of love and understanding to the canvas of life. I just wanted to encourage each of you to take a nice stroll in your relationship garden today. Take a look at the areas that need some attention, like the spots that could use a bit more sunlight or maybe some shade. Focus and nurture it. Make sure you have a conversation with your partner and really listen to what they hope for and what concerns them. In relationships, it's the steps we take together that really give our journey meaning. You can make it blossom in every season when you understand and care for it together. Sometimes, the bravest adventures are the ones we embark on within ourselves. Embrace your vulnerabilities. It's totally okay to ask for help when you need it. Going through life's crazy journey with your loved ones by your side. It's like this intricate dance we're all doing together as we wrap up this third and final part of navigating emotions and mental wellness together. I really hope you're feeling a sense of relief and a stronger connection to yourself and others. We talked about how taking care of ourselves and understanding each other's emotions can work really well together in a relationship. Now that we're starting to understand your emotions and your partner emotions better, it's really important to dig deeper and explore the language of the heart, intimacy and connection. Get ready for our next episode called Intimacy and Connection. We've talked about different aspects of our relationships, but if we want them to really grow and flourish, I encourage you to keep exploring with me. Why don't you continue the journey with our next episode? I am certain that, by the end of it, you'll have a much better grasp on how to create a strong, close, and unbreakable bond.